Hi, good afternoon. It's Azura. Sorry about the radio silence. I've needed to put out a few announcements for a while now. Everyone that I tried wound up being scuffed and unprofessional, unscripted, with me rambling on and losing track of what I wanted to say. So, in this video, I want to be as brief and to the point with what I want to talk about and what's going to happen moving forward for my Twitch and my YouTube channel. A small disclaimer, this video will briefly touch into topics on physical and emotional abuse. Viewer discretion is advised. I've been wanting to get back into streaming regularly for a while now. I've been wanting to start making my YouTube channel more active again. I didn't want to take an unannounced hiatus from doing anything regarding my streaming stuff or any of the videos and social media that I am in charge of. It just kind of happened that way, unfortunately. The hiatus started due to my mental health hitting a very deep low point. It all started at home. Things were very stressful. My parents kept having fights regarding our finances and the state of the new house that my dad has been working on for about a year at this point. I was in an environment where there were days I was afraid to come out of my room to even eat out of fear of being screamed at by my dad for no good reason or another. Many days I would get roped into helping out around the house regarding financial stuff with my mom, paying bills or getting groceries when she wasn't having to go to work. I've had to figure out when to stream as a result of this, since this was always out of the blue and never within any prior notice. I've mentioned before, they were really bad about kind of just springing things on me unannounced, and it ended up delaying something or another. It was always aggravating. It was always easier to stream during the evenings when she was at work. This wasn't anything new, however. We've been in a pretty rough situation for several years now. The current house that we're living in, it's in a state of disrepair. Several parts of it are falling apart, evidenced by leaks in almost every part of the structure. The roof has rotten so bad that you're risking a lot just to go up there and patch things up. One part of the house is unleveled due to the years of water runoff running underneath the house and eroding the foundation. And that's not even the most unpleasant parts. I don't feel comfortable going into the details on that. It's embarrassing, uncomfortable, and I'm kind of ashamed of it. But it's this state of disrepair that our current house is in that made my dad want to start building the new house with my mom's retirement check. This was all of her thrift savings. She was forced to retire because my dad was afraid he was going to die on the operating table for a major heart surgery that was set to happen. Mom leaves, I want to say, in November of 2022. I was still attending college. I want to say I was still at my community college then. It was either at my community college or I had just started university. But I didn't have my own car. I was terrified of driving the truck that we had because I had never driven up to the city before. I've never driven all the way up there. Up until that point, my dad had been driving me, and he had enough. He was set to keep me from going back to school, which, okay, this was still during the first couple of years of the COVID-19 pandemic. We were going back to our in-person classes, and I was one of the students that always tried to attend in person because that worked best for me. He would have gone as far as cutting off my fucking internet just to keep me from finishing my degree. He was blackmailing us, and my mom had to pay the price for it. We both did. Fast forward a year, and he spent over half my mom's thrift savings. I won't go into any details about the specifics as to where the money went, because of legality reasons, unfortunately. But not even my mom knows where everything went. We know where 10,000 of it went, but not the other 20,000. Between mismanagement of the money, digging holes where holes shouldn't have been dug, Mom constantly had to tap into their savings just to help keep us afloat at home because of his mismanagement, because of his incompetence, because he always wanted to do whatever he wanted to do first, and fucking ignore the needs that we had to have at home, like paying the bills. And the fucked up part about all of it, we couldn't do anything to stop him. They had to be his way, or we wouldn't have known any peace. There's a lot more things that I could get into, and this is a lot more background than I expected to give. But it wasn't a pleasant environment to live in. Imagine being in that kind of state. Imagine being in that kind of state, that kind of environment, and trying to do anything. It's exhausting. It's draining. And we've had to endure that for years. The last few months in their own right felt like years. Now we fast forward to the present year. My parents have been fighting a lot about trying to get the house finished because we haven't had any money to do it with. My dad maxed out our credit cards. He had been buying tools and such on credit. He's kind of piddled around and wasted a lot of resources that could have gone into the new house. Instead, he just fucked around, did whatever. But they've been fighting about getting this house finished, and on top of that, my dad was still continuing to battle health problems. The last huge, heated argument took place in April of this year. He said that he was going to be leaving us. Funny how foreshadowing seems to happen there. Around the end of May or so, we learned that he has cancer. We learned about it because he was dealing with back pains. At first, we had thought it was a slipped disc because he was trying to get our lawnmower in for maintenance. But no, that's not the case. He had cancer. Lung cancer, to be specific. But it had spread to his S1, which is at the base of his skull, his L4, and his L5 vertebrae. And I think, based off of what my mom ended up saying, it was either the L4 or the L5 that had been digging into the spinal canal. It had to have been in his body for a while to have spread that bad. From there, it was a downward spiral. It was like as soon as we learned he had cancer, his health just went into a free fall. He went from being able to walk, albeit with some difficulty because he had blockages in his legs, to having to lay down in bed and get assistance from either me or my mom just to get him to go to the bathroom. He couldn't walk. It was some of the hardest things that I've had to endure my entire life. Watching him go down so fast, hearing him scream in pain, having to help him walk back to the bathroom, and he couldn't talk. He couldn't talk. He was having trouble being able to talk. Something in his throat had been affected, and it had to have been from that cancer in the S1. You wouldn't have been able to understand him if he wasn't screaming, because you wouldn't have been able to hear him. After a while, he'd stopped eating. All he wanted was medication for the pain. All he wanted was opiates. And June 8th was when he died. He was 68 and died on 6/8 at around 3:45 Central Standard Time. My mom and I have been trying to pick up the pieces ever since. This has kind of been one of the main reasons why I've been away for streaming this go around. It's a very heavy reason to start with, and I realize that I am sharing a lot while I talk about this, but it's important to give you guys some of the context and the background as to what's been going on. And I've been needing to put this out for a while now. But regarding my dad, all I'm trying to do is move on. That's all we can do. I'm just glad he's not in pain anymore. And some of the other reasons, because I have a few other reasons listed in the script, are a lot less major in comparison, but it does make a little bit of sense whenever you look at the financial stuff and other things. But one of these reasons why I haven't been streaming as much is technical difficulties. Every time I try to start streaming, every time I try to come back to streaming, OBS wants to malfunction. It wants to malfunction. It wants to say that the stream is unstable when my internet router is in the same room. I don't have an Ethernet cable to connect it to. And granted, all I'm using is a gaming laptop. It's a pretty good one, but it's getting up in age. There's also been a few issues going on with it. It'll shut off without warning sometimes, and I think it's either due to overheating or there's issues with the battery cord. I don't know what's causing it. But I'm scared that if I try streaming something very heavy, very asset heavy, that it'll end up shutting itself off because something happened and I wouldn't really know what to do then besides try and let you guys know in a chat that, oh hey, my computer died. But I don't want it to get to that point. And I don't have any money to get it looked at right now. Like, it's a lot. As it stands, this is all I have, and I'm eventually gonna need to use this computer for work-related stuff, and I don't want to lose it if I can help it. But final reasons are more or less going into more detail about the expenses. Not long after my dad died, we had to pay for the funerary expenses. We couldn't afford to do a service for him. All we were able to do was cremate him, but that was what he wanted anyway. We ended up getting the box for him to be cremated in. We had to pay for the death certificates, for the life insurance, and right now we're in a holding pattern. We have been waiting for this money to come since July, and as it stands, they're still currently processing those documents. But we were struggling to make ends meet before my dad passed, and as it stands right now, that problem has been made significantly worse. When my mom came out of retirement, she started working for a local organization known as CDI, Community Development Incorporated. She wasn't given any proper time to grieve my dad before she had to go back to work because this company doesn't give any money to its workers while they're off duty. If you don't show up, you don't get paid. It's as simple as that. She doesn't even make a whole lot of money while she's working there, and yesterday and Saturday, she pulled 12-hour shifts. There is no overtime, except if you want to take on extra work working at these houses. Now, the work that she does, She has to sit with and help take care of some disabled individuals. This includes cleaning their house, making their meals, washing their clothes. And one day, one of the people she sits with got sick with COVID-19. This was the fault of workers not letting. This is the fault of the upper authorities basically not telling the house workers that they ended up getting sick, that there was someone that was infected with COVID. And these people ended up getting sent home early without being given any prior notice to the employees working there. And one of the people that my mom takes care of got her sick. She had to take off for the entire month, and we've been paying for it ever since. We've fallen behind on paying for car insurances, insurance on the new house that's currently being built, utilities. We're not making enough to make mince meat. I'm just gonna give it to you straight. My mom's retirement check doesn't cover all of our bills thanks to the bullshit that my dad pulled on us. This doesn't even cover that we have to spend $60 at minimum for enough food and drink to last us at least a week at the house. If we pay all of our bills, we can't afford to eat. And yeah, that's a lot. It makes streaming a lot harder for this reason. I view this as a hobby, first and foremost. I'm a goofball with a bunch of goofball friends, and they do their silly stuff for fun. I want to grow. I want to grow as a streamer. I want to grow as a content creator. But I don't want to view this as a means to get famous. I hear my mom in the back of my mind worrying about the money. How much would this bring in? How much would this do? So on and so forth. And I wanted to grow big for that reason for a little while, but it feels disingenuous to me. It'd be fun, though, being able to make money playing video games so I wouldn't have to worry about going to work anywhere. It's a selfish reason. And I don't want to look at this hobby as a way to make me big and famous. It just makes it lose the appeal and the fun. And the financial worries have sapped a lot of the fun for a lot of things that I liked doing. I liked writing, I liked drawing. I stopped writing for a good few years because my mom kept pushing me to try and write something that she felt would make me a best-selling author. I wanted to do art commissions to try and catch some bills up, and I never got anything for those. Getting paid through the affiliate program on Twitch felt surreal the first time it happened. I never thought that'd be possible. I wanted it to happen again. Happen faster. But then I stopped streaming as much. I wound up letting my channels die. There's a lot of things that I want to do for you guys. There's a lot more streams that I want to do. Videos that I want to make. Things are very uncertain right now, and I'm terrified. I want to believe that it'll get better, but there's no way to know for sure. Mom wants to finish the new house, but my dad never made any house plans. They were lost as soon as my dad died. So that complicates finishing this house significantly. For the longest time, it was just him that did the work. Just how much he got done by himself is something to behold. It's around halfway complete now, but it's still incomplete. There's pieces to pick up, and it's gonna be a mess. Mom doesn't have a lot of confidence in anyone properly helping us without the money to pay for it. So where do we go from here? There's gonna be a lot of things going on in my life right now, and I don't know when I'll be formally returning to Twitch and streaming again. But whenever I do, I have a few things that I want to do when this happens. Debut the 2.0 updated PNG model. I've already finished a new PNG that I want to debut with. The kicker is trying to generate enough excitement since my channel's been dead. I've already inadvertently spoiled the model in a few places because I want to go ahead and start using my updated Sona for streaming and video related activities. So what I'll probably end up trying to do is like do a little hints here and there. I don't entirely know for certain. I want to start posting more videos on YouTube's side besides these freaking updates. I keep saying that I'm gonna do this, and I've even got a script started for a video that I wanted to do for an anime I recently got back into. I want to start making more videos related to my fan works, kind of like how my partner Jordan's been doing with theirs. But I'm just gonna have to figure out where to start with that. There's a podcast that I wanted to do. With the fandom I got back into recently, I want to start doing things for my fandom podcast. And these videos are also meant to go on YouTube. I want to grow the fucking Twitch channel! I fucked up my personal channel goals for so long neglecting this that I've been lucky to even be able to push 200 followers. I want to be able to get more concurrent viewers as well, because I haven't been streaming as much, and I think a channel's growth isn't necessarily tied to how many followers you get. A friend of mine mentioned this a while back, but if you have a few more people, if you have like 5 people, like 5, 6, 7 viewers for like 100, for like I forget how he phrased it, but basically what I'm wanting is to have more concurrent chatters. Twitch has implemented a new policy that's supposed to that ends up punishing smaller streamers, because a lot of people end up lurking in smaller streamers' chat rooms. They have to send at least one message to be counted as a chatter, and it just doesn't work. What I want to do next is start going for more collabs. I want to do more collab events with different streamers, and I hope it'll be possible with my current hardware limitations. And lastly, hopefully I'll be able to finish my Live 2D model. It'll be a long while before I even get the means to use Live 2D feasibly, given my hardware issues, but I'd still like to be able to get the model finished so I know that I'll have it and have some of the assets ready to do a proper VTuber debut. Now, if you've gotten this far in the video, thank you so much for giving me a bit of your time. I didn't mean for this video to be as long as it is. Even when I wanted to be brief, I still wound up spilling my guts with how much there is to explain. But still, I'm very sorry to my viewers that I haven't been as active, and that I haven't been giving any updates as to whether or not I've been okay. I know there'd be some that would say that I don't owe anybody any explanations, especially with how much I wound up having to explain in the end, but I feel like I owe it to you guys to give y'all at least some explanation as to what's been going on. I never expected to have as many people following me as I do on Twitch. Never expected to have an audience, even if it is small. And I'd like you guys to know what's going on. I'm alright. Things are rough now, but even if it doesn't end the way that I want it to, things have a way of working out in ways that you don't expect. I've had to learn that over the years with how many disasters have hit us constantly. I don't know when I'll be able to get back to doing things the way I want for my channels. It may be a few weeks. It may be a month. I don't know. But I do know this. I really appreciate everyone that comes into my chat and say hi in my streams. It means a lot that you'll stop by and listen to this stupid goober of a ghost make her stupid jokes and play her silly little games. It really does. Stay tuned, my shades. I'll be back as soon as I can. This isn't a goodbye, but it's see you later.